Hi, let's look at DNS. So a DNS is a domain name system. So a domain name system is a distributed naming system for computers, services or any resource connected to the internet or a private network. So what a domain name system does is translating domain names, which can be easily memorized by humans, to a numerical IP address that identifies devices worldwide. So a domain name system is an essential component of the functionality of most internet services because it's actually the internet's primary directory servers. Often the analogy that's used is that a domain name system serves as a telephone book for the internet. It's where you can look up addresses on where you want to go. So names in DNS are constructed hierarchically from parts that are called labels. And we read them from the right to the left. So let's look at an example on the next slide. Here we see the root, which is where we start making the name, and here we have the top level domains. So the top level domains are always on the right of our addresses, and it's for example .com, .edu, .org, .uk for a country, etc. So then the second level domain is a little bit more specific on where we are. So we can, for example, be somewhere in Microsoft or somewhere in Google or on the Wikipedia or in some company or in some Bahnhof or whatever. And then there's a third level domain, which is a subdomain which specifies even more where we are. So for example, we can be on the TechNet within Microsoft.com, for example. And finally, these are the hierarchical levels that make up the DNS of the computer. So what a domain name system does is it distributes the responsibility of assigning domain names and mapping those names to IP addresses. It distributes its responsibility to designated authoritative name servers for each domain. And these make it a fault-tolerant servers, and this way it's avoided the need for a central database. So on this slide you can, for example, see how this more or less goes. The responsibility to calculate the IP address that is related to certain domain names is being distributed to different authoritative servers. So here we see another example. So this is the URL that we have, www.upv.es, and we cast this to a DNS server, and this gives us the IP address that can be used to find the computer and use the web services that are being offered. So there's different types of domains. Generic top-level domains are actually managed by the Internet Assigned Numbers Authority, the IANA, and the management of country codes top levels is delegated to specific organizations in each country. So generic top-level domains that were created early in the development of Internet are, for example, .com for commercial use, .org for non-profit organizations, .net for networks of organizations, .int for international organizations, and .edu for educational institutions like universities and US colleges. Then we have .gov for government agencies, and we also have .mil for the US military. So in 2000, several new generic top-level domains were introduced, and some new application and implementation process for generic level top domains were created. And as of February 2015, the root domain contains 1034 top-level domains. So if you want to buy such a domain, you have to go to a domain name registration services or one of their delegates. And you can find many just doing an internet search on Google.